If you guys have not been following the channel or haven't seen any of my videos, well, welcome to the channel. I recently actually ended up going to Cali, and one of the biggest issues that I saw over there was that everywhere they had signs, they posted things where it was illegal to be holding your phone while you're driving. And me as a tourist, that was kind of difficult because I needed to be following GPS because I have no idea where I'm going. I'm from Phoenix, Arizona. So over there, just completely lost for me because of the freeways. I don't really know any of the streets. So one thing that I did is I went down to my local store and I just bought, a phone holder. That way I could just put it on the window, have my phone there, be looking at the GPS and have no issues. Lay it on there and then just be able to pull it off and just make it quick and easy. So I'm gonna be installing some of that in the FRS, and we're gonna be doing a little update video of some new mod that I did to the FRS without you guys actually knowing, but there is a video of how to install it on my channel, and more on that later. All right, so we're in the interior of my car, and I have to kind of decide where I wanna put it. That way I can have a hands-free device, and even though I don't use the GPS that much in this area, it would be nice to just have an area to place it and not have to be worrying about my phone falling into the seat, which happens a lot of the times. So here is the phone mount. It's a Scotch magnetic phone holder. If you guys are interested in getting one, I can put a link down in the description below. So what it comes with is a magnetic strip that goes on the back of your phone. It'll like stick to your phone, and then that magnetic strip sticks to the actual phone holder. So then after that, you can kind of decide where you want to place it, obviously. My phone is it's a 7S, so just to give you guys a perspective on the size. And when I had it mounted on my left side. For some reason, that seems to be the side that I'm most comfortable with when I'm looking at stuff, because I have, for example, I have my gauges here, I have my radio here. I don't really want anything obstructing directly in front of me. So I think this is probably where I'm gonna go ahead and put it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna put it on my actual phone. I'm gonna take off this little double-sided sticky. So the thing with these ones is that you can't really remove it after you place it. Just wherever you place it is where it's gonna be. It's not a conventional suction cup, which is nice, but I kind of don't really like it that much. So I'm just gonna go ahead and figure out where I want it and just go ahead and stick it to there. That way it's on there nice and tight. And the beauty of it is just like it's instant. It's just there. It's already holding my phone. Leave it on there for a little while, give it some nice little cushion, and there goes. My phone is now connected. So this section here on the FRS BRZ is always empty unless you have either the 1 series or the limited, which has the heater buttons here. But I have something that I want to put there. It's not the perfect size for it. So I want to go ahead and mount it here. You could mount your phone here if you wanted as well. So I just went ahead and ordered 2. So I have a second one. And if you guys are wondering what the little plate looks like, which I already had on my phone, it's just like a nice little black plate that you take out of there. And then this, is what sticks to it. So this is normally what you would go ahead and stick on, whatever device you have. So I want this to kind of sit in this general vicinity. So right now I'm about to show you guys something that you guys haven't ever seen on my car. You guys know I like to go to the track. You guys know I have coilovers on my car, but recently I decided to change it up with this. And if you guys know what this is, you know what's in my car now. So the reason we didn't really make a video on this is because there's already a video on my channel, which I could put a link to if you guys want to, if you guys are interested in installing an Airlift system into your car. Obviously this is the V3 because you can tell from the controller. It's much nicer. It looks like a little iPod. And this is what I want to go ahead and be mounting there. So that way I can see, my settings, my setup, I can change it. And the way I did that is I just drilled a little hole in this section on the center console. I slid it through, I covered it up with the little rubber piece that goes there, brought the wire through, and that's how I have the Airlift thing here. So this is aluminum, so it's not really mounting to it. So I'm gonna go ahead and put that little strip on it. Just lay it on the back, just like that. And then it'll magnetically stick to it. So I know that I wanted it somewhere in this area, and I wanted it to not be moving at all because then it'll be flying off to your passenger or whatever. So I think I'm gonna want it at a, at an angle where it's still visible for me, but it's not in the way of my shifting. And obviously if it was, I could just go ahead and remove it out of the way. But I kind of like it in this area. I can see it there. If I want to like twist it towards me, I know I can. So that's probably where I'm gonna go ahead and do it. Luckily, my car's not that dirty. If you want to make sure this sticks properly, you want to go ahead and throw something there that you can clean it up first. So I'm just gonna go ahead and stick it right in this area. Take this off so I can go ahead and stick it on there much better. And obviously you can tighten it to the point where it won't move, or you can tighten it to the point where it barely moves and you have just that much control over it. And there we are. Now my controller is mounted. I can easily access it right here in this area, and perfect. That way I don't have my controller just laying around everywhere. If you guys want to look at it in that angle, and that's awesome because you can move it. If you need to move it out of the way, you can just disconnect it. This could be out of the way, but if you really wanted, have that extra space when you're on the track and you don't want to have anything in the way, you can literally just go ahead and pop it off and it'll be completely out of the way. That's one of the beauties of this. And since it's double-sided taped on there, you're not going to be having the issue where it's just not going to fall off. Sometimes the suction cups do. Sometimes if you put the suction cup on your actual window tint, it will actually peel the window tint off, so that's not something that you guys want. And ask me how I know from experience. I put this little camera that I have onto my little windshield banner and it destroyed it. So yeah, so now that you guys know that I have this Airlift system, let me show you how the car looks on the outside. So here is my front fitment. It doesn't look as good, when you're trying to drive around. And this is not actually my driving around fitment. This is the fitment that I use when I need to get over something. And it's just so much more convenient than being on coilovers, because when I was on coilovers, obviously I had the little lip right here. If you could tell, this is just a wrap. It's not actual like fender that I'm missing like an extra inch of gap. This is just vinyl wrap up to here, and I have about a 3-finger gap to my actual wheel. And that enables me to come in my drive-through without scraping my splitter. As you guys know, I did a custom splitter on the car. There's another video for that as well if you guys are interested in doing a custom splitter for yourself. And I used to scrape it up all the time, so that's why I wanted to change to something that was just gonna be more convenient for me. Yeah, I do track the car, but it's not every day that I track it. So Airlift seems to be a company, that they say that I can drive it, show it, and track it. So we're gonna have to put that to the test, obviously. But it's just so much easier to be on a suspension that you can raise and lower at will. So now let me show you guys the fitment in the rear. So here is the fitment in the rear. As you can tell, I have a much bigger gap in the rear. This is completely fistable. Obviously that's monster track status right there. Everybody would make fun of me if I ran it like this. And it's much bigger than the front because I just haven't adjusted the front struts quite yet. I need to adjust them to raise them up, but they just do, they go low enough to the point where they actually sit on the frame. So it works for now, but I do need to adjust them to have, this type of gap in the front as well, so I could have a little bit more clearance. And the reason why I have this much gap is because I decided this was gonna be my maximum gap, for the fact that at this actual height, my axles are perfectly straight with the diff. Now the diff is in stock location and I can't really do diff risers on this car because I have 600 horsepower axles, which have the Porsche inners, and those just don't fit. Like if you were to adjust that, I would have to notch my actual frame and just a whole bunch of other custom work that I don't really want to do, and I feel like it would lose integrity. So I'd rather just keep it like that. So at this specific height with a perfectly straight axle, since I'm pushing 500 wheel horsepower, this is probably at the height that I would need to put if I want to launch it. If I want to go to the track, or like if I want to go to the drag strip actually, or if I would just want to do like a really fast 0 to 60 time, my wheel is actually not cambered here. It's probably like at the perfect 0 offset, and the axles are straight, so I could probably launch, my best at this setting. If I were to actually make the rear struts softer, so that way it pretty much squats when I take off, I know I'm gonna have the maximum grip to be able to take off, you know, have the fastest 0 to 60 time, and make sure that I'm not breaking anything because the axles will be at a very nice angle. So now let's show you guys how it will look once it's lowered. So in all, I really like being bagged. You know, there's a lot of hate out there for people that are on, you know, coilovers. There's a lot of hate for people that are on bags. There's a lot of hate for people that cut their springs. You know, we're never gonna satisfy everybody. No one's ever gonna be happy with your build 100%, you know, so you just gotta build for you, you know, is pretty much the moral of the story. And I was kind of skeptical when going bags. I'm more of a coilover guy because I've always had coilovers on all of my cars. But I wanted to go ahead and try it because a lot of my customers are actually on bags, and for them to be able to drive in out of my driveway and drive out without scraping, you know, have that luxury of being able to raise your car whenever you're in an uneven terrain, you know, was just really nice to me. So I wanted to see how that felt. So I bit the bullet and bought bags. You know, it's a lot more expensive than going coilovers, obviously, but you know, I sold my coilovers to a fellow subscriber that's here in Phoenix. You know, he's gonna have some of the best coilovers for half of the price almost, and he's gonna love them just as much as I love them as well. Just those GYVUS were amazing. You know, I'm not saying anything bad about coilovers, but now that I'm on bags, it was a little bit more comfortable for me, mainly because of that reason, you know, that I can raise and lower. I felt it was more comfortable. So now that I'm on bags, when I go over bumps and stuff like that, I'm not like crunching my teeth just waiting to see what's gonna happen, because with the 275s in the back, they're a really wide tire and they're also a really tall tire compared to the 255s that I had on there before. So when my car would fully articulate, it would actually rub on the kit a little bit, and that caused it to actually rip in a little section on the inside that you can't really see, but you know, it's something. And that affected me a lot because whenever there's a spot here where I always go through that has railroad tracks, that the railroad tracks kind of go down a little bit, and that's the spot that would always get me. I had to really slow down to not, you know, feel it. And now that I was on bags, I had it at an even lower ride height. Obviously the dampening is probably a bit stiffer on these because it's probably set like that. I haven't really adjusted it. And on my GYVUS, I had it set to the hardest setting, but since they were only, I think, like 4K springs or 3.5 springs, they were really soft, and that would cause a lot of issues for me. And that's probably one of the reasons why I broke my first axle in the first place, because I had a really soft suspension at the height that I had it, and when I angled out, that was a big issue. So now that I can raise it, I can actually take stuff straight on and not have that weird angle on my axles and giving, you know, extra stress as I'm giving some power to the car. So I think overall that's gonna protect my axles a lot, and with me having, you know, $1,000 axles, that's something that I want to do. And having the power that I'm at, that's another big thing for me, that I just don't want to be breaking axles anymore. I think these are already fractured a little bit, so I'm gonna go ahead and send them back. Luckily, they still have a 1-year warranty on them, so that'll be covered by that, and have that problem fixed. Even though they're kind of fractured and they make a little ticky noise every once in a while, they haven't let me down. So I know that they're really high quality, really strong. It's just the car being low and the power that it's at doesn't really correlate with each other, if that makes any sense. So having it high, I'll be more comfortable to be able to do a 0 to 60 launch again like I used to do when I was NA. And it's really nice being on bags. A lot of people that are static say a lot of crap or talk a lot of bad things about people that are on bags and bags, vice versa. I think that the main issue is that whatever you have in your car, you think is gonna be the best, and whatever anybody else has is the worst, or it's less than yours, that you have the best stuff. And it's all a mind thing, because you can have a boosted car, you can have an FRS that's boosted and you can be like, oh, I'm better than everybody because they're all NA. Or you can, and then you have the guys on the other hand that have a built engine that are boosted, are like, oh, I'm better than the guys that are just boosted because they can blow their engine easily. Like, it's a never-ending process, and if you have that mentality, that's always going to be something that is going to affect the car community, unfortunately. But I think that going bags was a good decision for me, because I've never been on bags, and I think it's actually a new experience for me, and I think I really like it actually. I probably won't do bags on any other car because of the price that it is, but for this car, I think it's completely worth it. So to end it all, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you guys are excited that this car is now on bags, and I might be tracking it on bags, obviously, because I'm not going to be changing the suspension setup. And if you guys are interested in seeing how this was installed, because I installed it exactly how I installed Paul's kit a while back ago. So if you want to go look for that video on my channel, Airlift suspension install, it's like a silver V3 Rocket Bunny kit, or Pandem, I think it's what they're called now. And same exact installation. I only have, I think, 1 pump, whereas he has 2. That's the main difference. Same exact kit, same exact tank, same exact the way I did the wiring and all that stuff. Same way I modified it. It was just a bit easier to do it on mine because I already done it before. So as always, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like. Make sure you're subscribed if you're not subscribed, and hit that bell notification to keep up to date with this car, with the Fiesta ST WRC or R5 kitted kit that we have for it. And yeah, just a bunch of awesome content coming up for you guys. So as always, have a great day.